Well, Lou, you asked us to do a response to, are there anybody out there like me, to Gypsy Witch? And your response to it is, well, I watched both vids, and, she had a lot to say that I did kind of agree with, and how you can be an atheist and a pagan at the same time. And I learned a lot about you, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. Well, being pretty much pagan practically almost all my life, being taught more of a non-organized pagan religion, in a way you can say. A lot of things were taught orally, in a traditional, in a sense, that way, and nothing was really written down. And a lot of the focal points in what we were taught was that Danu, who we call the Great Mother, was a focal point to us. But everything stemmed to the world around us, the elements, the winds, especially the winds, and the elements in correspondence together, and the earth. This is where we drew everything from it, and it was sort of filtered in a way through Danu. A lot of things I was taught by my mother, and by who she was taught by her mother, and so on, were orally. They could be in a recipe, how to weave something, how to make a quilt. My grandmother and my mother made quilts, and they had a lot of designs and things that they did when they did that process of quilting, in protecting a baby, protecting a child. My grandmother would make quilts to protect us when we were away. Everyone who got married got a quilt, and Grandma would weave something in there as for a protection for long-lasting marriage. Probably why my marriage didn't last that long. Grandma wasn't around to make a quilt. But my mother would do the same thing when she made her baby quilts, and I do that when I make jewelry. It's a weaving process, and you're pulling into everything. Being pagan is a path and a way of life. That's how I view it. It's my way of life. It is embedded in me. It's a part of who I am. It's what I breathe day in and day out. When I wake up in the morning, when I go to sleep at night, when I go throughout my day. I remember someone asking me once, do you do magic? I do magic every day. When I sit in the car and we make little whimsical little tunes that we always used to do. When we cook, I do it when I drive, things to that effect. But it's a process that you just do naturally, like breathing to me. And I think that's what makes a difference a lot of times between structured religions, that there's such a regiment there that you have to follow a strict rule system, and you have to abide by these aspects of it. And yes, you do have what's consistently good or bad. Yes, they all have their own set of rules and structure, but nature itself, the world around you, has its own set of structure. And I like to call it chaos, and in a way it is chaos, but it's a structured chaos, and it survives and it evolves. And that's how I view my path. I'm constantly growing, and I'm constantly evolving, learning new things. I don't take things structurally from a book. I get ideas and say, yeah, I can work with that, and I can work around it. And I may not necessarily believe that that would work for me, but I can see that point of view and see that opinion. You know, we all have our opinions, and we're allowed to have our opinions. Wonder where that came from. But when you look at it as a path and a way of life, it enriches you more. And people can understand when they look at you that, yes, I believe in this, that I believe in this goddess. I believe in Danu, and I can understand how you embrace her and how she embraces you. And I think that's what is lost a lot in those textbooks. They don't feel that oneness. And like, you don't have to have a god or a goddess or a supreme being, as Gypsy Witch said when she looks out what being an atheist is. You have to feel with what's around you and become attuned to it. Because a lot of times I think they lose that aspect of it, that feeling and that understanding, that listening. Listen to what the wind says. You know, you may think it's the wind's howling in my ear, but listen to it, feel it. Feel what the earth is giving you. Feel the water lap around you. Feel, just not the heat of the flame, but feel the power of it. Feel what it knows, you can learn from it, and what you can learn, and what the elements in the world around you is telling you. There's a lot of history there, and a lot of things they'd like to tell you, but we just can't hear it anymore. And I think that's what's lost. So, no, Gypsy Witch, I don't think you're the only one out there. Because you have Lou. And she's the goddess of the plaid. So, you should be safe.